What is going on, everybody? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight is another edition of Comic Collector Origins, the show where I interview friends and people I've met through the comic book community, Instagram, YouTube, and all that. And I ask them about their origin story, how they got into the hobby, into collecting, into reading, comics, and so on and so forth. So I say this every time, but this show has been a blast. I've met so many amazing people and made so many amazing friends through this show. So appreciate everybody who supports me, supports the channel, supports the guests that I bring on, and connects and follows with them each and every, well, at this point, every other week that I've been doing the show now for season 2. This is technically episode 9 for Comic Collector Origins. So went on a little hiatus for a little while there, and now brought back season 2, and it's been a lot of fun here in just the last few months. So very excited to have tonight's guest. He's been on the channel before for other shows and other aspects, and he's just a long-term friend now. At this point, I've known him for a while. Gotten to know him through the channel, through hanging out in other people's YouTube chats, and seeing him on other people's channels, and so on and so forth. And he's been a guest on Omni X-Men recently. He actually helped us kick off the show this season for Omni X-Men. And of course, we're talking about my good friend Bobby de la Ghetto Station. Bobby.
Hey, brother. How you doing, man? How you doing, Justin, the mayor? Yeah.
Doing good, dude. The mayor, yeah, that cracks me up. I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Oh man, I'm happy to be here. You know, at my age, I'm happy to be anywhere. But yeah, I'm happy to be here with you tonight, man. Excited. I've been looking forward to this. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. Happy to have you on, and appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join me here. Like I said, it's always a good time, when we're streaming. I know we had you on the show for Omni X-Men, and that was a good time, and we've still been rolling with that. And dude, I just appreciate all the support you've always given me and my channel and everything that I've been doing. You've been there, man. So that's why I've known you for a few years now. I feel like just getting to know you over the years. So.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Likewise, man. I appreciate you and John and the whole chat, man. You know, I've been there for a few years, so it's like a family. You know, it's always a fun time, and it's a show. You know, you can catch me. There's a few shows that you can catch me in the chat, and that's one of them. Yeah, I'm always there. Yeah, I love you guys. Yeah.
We appreciate it, man. We really do. Obviously we are here tonight because I want to know more about your origin story. I'm very curious about your background and kind of how you fell into things. But before we get into that, I want to remind the viewers real quick, if you are not following Bobby de la Ghetto, make sure you do so. I put Bobby's information in the description below. You can hit him up over on Instagram. And I know you're all over the YouTube world with Fable and some of the other guys. The Backlog Bros don't even know what the Backlog Bros is, but still trying to figure that out. But yeah, man. So for those watching, make sure you're following Bobby. Hit him up. Say hi in the chats. Bobby's everywhere. So make sure you're doing that. And if you're watching the replay, thanks for taking the time to do so. Let's say a quick hello to the chat, Bobby, and then we'll get into some Q&A here. We got my man James. He's been hanging out, dude. James, you're the man, James. We appreciate you. He was here at 3:38 Eastern time this afternoon. Came back again at 6:08, and then here again right at 9 o'clock. Hello from New Mexico. We appreciate you, James. Appreciate it. Always hanging out and tailgating early on. Let's see. We got my man Matt in Clemson hanging out in the chat tonight. What is going on, Matt? Always a pleasure. There he is, just talking about him. Our guy Fable, the Blame Fable Show, Station Fable, one collection down.
Yep.
We got Cliff on comics. What is going on, Cliff? Showing some love in the chat. Appreciate you. We got our good friend Candace in the chat. She knows about Bobby hanging out in our Omni X-Men crew. Thanks, Candace, for hanging out with us tonight. Let's see. We got my man Stevie Conlon Comics, who was just our guest on the Omni X-Men show last night. If you guys missed it, over on John's channel, check it out. Stevie is a good dude, man. We appreciate you being here, and he was just on Origins not too long ago, so check out that episode. Let's see. Scrolling through, seeing everybody saying hi to everyone else. Yes, he says the masked man himself. That's right. And Bobby, we definitely got to get into the mask too. So let's get into the just kicking it off here. Before anything else, what started this hobby for you? When did you get into the hobby? And what was your surroundings like? Did you have family or friends that helped you get into it, or were you kind of on your own in that regard?
Yeah, well, I live in Kansas, you know what I mean? I was born in on the Missouri side, you know. I like to say I was born in misery, you know what I'm saying? But we lived on state line. Yeah, we lived on the state line. On one side of the street was Missouri, the other side was Kansas.
Mm.
So we moved over to the Kansas side. And yeah, and I had two older brothers. I had two older brothers. There's me right there, and there's brother Joe. Yeah, there's brother Joe and Silent Tony. Yeah, yeah.
Look at Brother
And
Joe. I love it. I love it.
And so there isn't a time when I didn't know about Batman and Superman. You know, I was born around the time when Batman '66 was on TV. You know, the reruns,
Oh
and
man.
I had older brothers, and you know, we had comics laying around. They had Mad magazines and comics just laying around. You know, but it was a different time. You know, we didn't know about bags and boards and nothing like that. But I was a little case G. I was a little case G, and you know, I had issues even before I collected comics. I had issues because I was dyslexic. I like seen things backwards, like manga, and so I kind of was resistant to reading and stuff. And when I went to school, I was that kid in the back that I was doodling, I was drawing, I was listening, but I'd be drawing and stuff and doing my own thing. Hey, Gore, good to see you, brother.
Sure.
And so I was dyslexic, but my brothers had comics laying around, so I taught myself how to look at. You know, it makes sense for it to go from left to right, and I had to. You know, they had like Little Lulu, Casper, and Richie Rich, and like I said, Mad Magazine with Sergio Aragonis. So I really couldn't read, but I was just digging the artwork. So some folks they say, what attracts you to a comic? Is it the story or the art? Well, I have to say it's the art because I was looking at the artwork before I could even read. Man, I was digging it.
Yeah.
And and so that's what turned me on to comics. And then it was in the '70s. Yeah, this is the very first comic that I bought and stuff. Yeah, with my own money.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's this issue here. Yeah, this is the actual issue Fantastic Four 150.
Mm.
It was it costed a quarter and it was on the spinner rack. But this is the actual one, and the cover fell off, so I made my own cover. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. You drew
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I drew that. Yeah. I drew that a while ago, yeah, but it's got the Avengers, the Inhumans, the Fantastic Four.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
this is the comic that got me hooked. Yeah, and I couldn't even read. You know, I just. What happened was this apartment that we moved to. This kid had some comics, and he showed me, and I was checking out this comic, which was Avengers number 127,
Mm.
it has the Inhumans and them and the Fantastic Four and this Avengers comic, and ended on a cliffhanger, and it continues on in Fantastic Four 150.
So they crossed over. Okay.
Yeah, it crossed over, right? Yeah, and the kid showed me this, and so I went to 7-Eleven. We lived next to a 7-Eleven with the squeaky rack. You know, it had the squeaky rack. You know what I mean? And comics were a quarter. And I seen this, man, and I was like, wow, that's the one that continued from there. So I bought it, and I went and showed that kid. I was like, look, man, I got and he was like, I showed him something because he was surprised that it was in a Fantastic Four, and I felt like I was one up on. Yeah. So after that, I was addicted. I said, I'm gonna start collecting these things. And so, yeah, from 1974 until present day, yeah, I've been a comic collector. Yeah.
Oh man, so like nonstop from there. There was never a break, never a pause for you.
I wouldn't say there was never a break because there was, sometimes, you know what I mean. When I was rolling, I'm collecting more, but when times get hard, you got to cut off certain things. There was a time, I had a family, a wife and kid, and all that, and comics had to take a back seat, sometimes, but for the most part, no, I'm comic driven. Yeah, I would go to the library and check out the comics, and graphic novels, and just to keep up on my reading. And yeah, I just, like I said, I love comics. I love all comics. Earlier I was just Marvel eccentric. When I was younger, right. I didn't care for too much, but my tastes have changed. And I love DC and independent comics, and even a Bazooka Joe comic. Anything with a character, I'm sucked in. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And I mean, to know that it was the artwork, especially that pulled you in, I think you're not alone there. I think a lot of us had, obviously it speaks volumes to us whether the story is good or not. Can really still draw your attention to, no pun intended, can draw your attention to the artwork alone and make you appreciate a book. So I love that aspect of it, and I didn't know that, on that side of it for you. So it's really cool to see. Real quick, want to say hello to my man Bill in the chat. B Donovan, what's going on, Bill? Hope everything is well. We also have Inja and Sheena in the chat. What's going on, gang? Good to see you both. Let's see. And there's Brother Joe. Station Brother Joe. He says, "Who's the man behind the mask?" And we got my man Ryan, aka Magic Lasso, hanging out as well, saying hi, Justin and Bobby in chat. Love the Avengers that you just showed. Yeah, for sure. So tell me more. So so from this point on now, I guess what stood out as some of your favorite characters, I guess, even just through these years, or who have you gravitated to the most?
The Thing, the Benjamin J. Grimm, the Thing is my favorite character from when I was a kid, and he still is. You know what I mean? Yeah. When I read a Spider-Man comic, of course I'm Spider-Man. You know what I mean? When I read a Captain America comic, I'm Captain America. You know what I mean? And when I read the Fantastic, the Thing is my favorite one though. To me, he talked like a regular person, and it's clobbering time, and I'll get you bums, and what's this gizmo and stuff like that. It was just I could relate to him, and the Thing is one of those guys that like you fight the Hulk, and 9 times out of 10 the Hulk beats him down, but he never turns back. He'll still charge headlong into it. He'll get back up and he'll keep fighting and stuff. Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah, right. He doesn't give up. So that's kind of been my mantra. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You can knock me down, but I'll get back up, yeah.
So I'm gonna have to at some point later on, I'm gonna have to pick your brain, after the show, more about the Thing, because I've been diving into Fantastic Four, been reading a lot more of it recently, and then on top of that, I've been buying the Marvel 2-in-1s recently, and for me the artwork, all these different artists that have been on that line, I've been like very curious and just drawn to it. So I've been picking that up, and I want to start reading it. And so maybe I'll pick your brain on kind of where to start, or what, kind of go what direction I should go into. But yeah, a lot of FF lately for me. So that's cool. And for those reasons that you listed, it's a great point as to why the Thing is so great. So I dig it. Question about your mask. Where did the mask come from? And obviously Dr. Doom represent. Love the ring you had in the picture that I put in the thumbnail and everything else. And I know you're always repping something with it. So tell me a little bit of the background of the mask.
Well, when I decided to do this on the YouTube, I said I'm going to go at it. I like luchador. When it comes to wrestling, I always like the luchador lifestyle, where you see them wearing the 3-piece suit, and they're wearing their mask, and they're fighting crime and vampires, and then they get in the ring and they fight, and then also, Dr. Doom, of course, he's my favorite Marvel. He's my favorite villain, is Dr. Doom, and then also MF Doom. There's the rapper.
Yes.
Yeah, I was turned on to his music. Yeah, I discovered. I liked him before. It's crazy because I like Third Base, and it was KMD, and I bought his CD, and I played the hell out of it. And then I discovered, when I was going to the library, I stumbled onto MF Doom, and that music blew me away, because it has like cartoons and stuff into the music, and I was like comic book stuff.
The audio.
Yeah, I was like, I love this, man. Yeah, so I became a fan, and then when he passed away, I was like, I didn't know he was KMD. I didn't know that was him and stuff. So I was like, wow, I liked him even before, yeah. So that was crazy. Yeah. And then, so I'm a disciple of Doom, and I wear this mask, and it's kind of, I said, I always wanted to be a superhero. When I was a kid, I remember, in school, they asked the class, what do you want to be when you grow up? And some kids said, I want to be a cowboy, and some, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a Kansas City chief player. Well, I knew I wanted to be a superhero, but I couldn't just blurt it out, because, maybe in that class, maybe a supervillain was sitting there. I didn't want to know my secret identity. So I had to tell him I wanted to be a mild-mannered librarian when I grow up. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah.
That's funny, man. Very cool, man. I have to say, yeah, like the whole MF Doom thing. I that should have been a talking point from the get go for me asking the question because I got into MF Doom. A friend of mine let me, or he was playing the Food album, and
Yeah.
it was
That's the one.
so. It was so yeah, it was so like different for me, and like, and I listened. I mean, I listen to everything, but from a hip hop perspective, I've always been very open to not just the commercial stuff, but a lot of the underground stuff, and appreciative of guys you might not have even heard of and things like that. So for me, I mean, MF Doom definitely came off as he was not commercial. He was not Jay-Z and some of the bigger names as far as like commercial goes. But he definitely in the underground world, from at least to my knowledge, was big. So when I heard that, and no, I never heard any like other style like that before. So just going into that made me fall in love with it. I remember I have that album on vinyl. That was like the one I bought whenever they ended up re-releasing that. But and they kind of went from there. So him with the mask and everything else, like I love that. And I think someone commented earlier, they loved when you had that picture up that you even had a mask on even when you were a kid, and so it's cool. And the luchador stuff, I think of like Rey Mysterio and some of the wrestlers that I used to follow, back in the 90s and early 2000s. So it all makes sense. So that's real cool, man. That's real cool. And I saw Aggressively Relaxing in the chat. What's going on, man? He says, see, I wouldn't have taken you for a Doom guy. Yeah. Who would have guessed? Let's see. Brother Joe says, I've always known Bobby G. He is a trip. Ryan says, Bobby, who is your favorite Fantastic Four member that wasn't part of the original team? Good question, Ryan.
That's a tough one. Yeah. Right away, I like Crystal, you know what I mean? I thought, but she broke Johnny's heart, you know what I mean? That was tough. Luke Cage, I had to go with She-Hulk. I'd have to go with She-Hulk. Yeah. When I was younger and she came in, the Thing stayed on the Secret Wars. He stayed on the planet, on the battle world. And the She-Hulk, I'm a Byrne fan. And so, I was loving him drawing the Thing, and all of a sudden now the Thing's not even on the FF. She-Hulk came out. I was kind of mad, but now looking back, on it, I appreciate it. Yeah, that she was she was quite the character, and it was a good matchup. It was all, he did good on that series. And so, yeah, I love that She-Hulk was in there. Yeah.
Yep, nice one. Yeah, that's the Byrne stuff. That was some of the first stuff I collected for Fantastic Four Byrne stuff. I have to finish reading that because that's a whole series. I was hunting it down. I finally did it, and then I never got into actually diving into the book. So that's got to be next on my list. But great question, Ryan. My man Trev is in the chat. What's going on, Trev? Good to see you as well. Let's see. Conlon also agrees with you. He says, I love the She-Hulk Fantastic Four run. There you have it. Very cool. So do you have, I know, so you had a couple books you were showing. Do you have another book that you want to show, something that means something special to you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that I got a stack here. But I started going to the Kansas City cons. I discovered them, yeah. Well, first, like I said, it was a 7-Eleven rack. And then I discovered my LCS. It took me a couple of years. We didn't have the internet. I didn't know nothing about that. And it took me a couple of years to find my brick and mortar spot, and it's still going. I've been going there for 40 years. Yeah, it's Clint's Comics in Kansas City, Missouri. And yeah, so shout out to Clint's Comics. But I started going to the cons, and this is a sketch cover I got from the late great Steve Lytle. Yeah, Steve. Yeah. I had him. I asked him to do a skeleton of me with a goatee, and he did that on that Inhumans, the Rise of Atlantis book. Yeah, that Steve Lytle. Steve Lytle was one of the first comic creators that I met, and he was from Kansas City, and he was just a real cool, down to earth guy. And I knew he would be there. He was. Back then you could talk to the creators. It was like there'd be a line, and then all of a sudden there's no line, and you could just sit there and talk to him. And man, that guy was real cool. And I got a few sketches from him. and he would sign everything and anything that I brought. So I'd look forward to it every year. You know, I'd say if I found some books of his, I'd take them down there and I'd get them autographed. And getting signatures was a big thing. A big part of my hobby. That some people like signatures and some people don't. But I went to one of my early cons. I met John Byrne and George Perez, and those were two of my heroes.
Amazing.
And I had him sign a bunch of stuff for me, and I was hooked. John Byrne doesn't like to sign now, and I feel bad that maybe it was because of me getting so much stuff signed. You know what I mean? I feel bad, Mr. Byrne. Please come back to the cons. Yeah, man.
You wore him out, Bobby. You wore him out.
Yeah. But I discovered sketch covers, right? If I go to a con, this is a Maria Wolf right here. Yeah.
She is amazing. I got to meet her once at C2E2, and she is so nice, very, very friendly, very bubbly, and her artwork is wild, like, with the colors and everything. And this is wicked, what she did here for you. That is awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I love her, right? Yeah, she's coming back in March. She'll be here next month. She's coming to Planet Comic Con. Yeah, it's the big one here in Kansas City. If you guys ever come down, man, we'll show you a good time. We'll go get some barbecue. And it's always a good time. Circumstances and Beckerman is down here. JP, yep. Yeah, there's my Fool Richardson. Yeah, that's a Fool Richardson. Yeah,
she's great too. She is, and that's a really cool sketch that she did. That her style, very simple and yet stunning. And she's great. She actually, I met her at a karaoke bar in Baltimore a few years ago with Nigel, Desired Comics. And she was singing Fall Out Boy. She was singing one of Fall Out Boy songs, and she was killing it on camera. And then it was like me, Desired. I think it was like Sparks Comics was there, and a bunch of others. And that was fun. So she's cool. I had talked to her later about it, and she still remembers it. Anytime I see her, I'm like, remember that time we were at karaoke? She's like, yeah, dude.
See, man, I'm jealous of you, man. I'm jealous of you right on that one. Yeah.
Hey, no, don't be, man. You got John Byrne on me. You got John Byrne on me.
Hey, not only that, we were at the con when I met her, and she sang to me at the con. Yeah, she broke. Yeah. I almost started crying, man. Luckily, I had my mask on. Yeah.
She has many talents, many talents overall. Yeah.
I don't know if you know about this one here, but yeah, this is a big part of my story. This was Man of Steel number 105. Yeah.
No, I've never seen that one. That's sick.
It's drawn by Doug Mankey. Yeah, he came to Kansas City, and it was, I guess it was in 1999. I guess because this came out in 2000. But I asked him if he would put me in a comic, and he said he would. And there I am, right there. Yeah, without my mask.
No way. Yeah. That's so sick.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is awesome, dude. That's next level right there.
So yeah, I made it in a comic. That's me right there. Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna keep an eye out for that now. Next time I'm hunting. Yeah. There's my boy Bobby.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to highlight a couple things in the chat here. Ryan said, "I wish I could get a John Byrne signature, but I have great memories of meeting Perez." Yeah, I had a chance to walk by Perez's table a couple years, probably 2019, I think. But never John Byrne for me. The other thing, Candace had said, what creator or creators are on your list to meet? I guess even just coming, I don't know who's going to be at the Kansas City con that you were just mentioning, but even just in the recent future, anybody that you're like eager to run into.
Well, I would stand in line for Alex Ross or Michael Allred. I haven't met them, and I like their stuff. You know what I'm saying? I've met so many great legends in my time, like here in Kansas City, maybe because we're in the middle of the map, but there's like locally, I mean, Jason Aaron, Scotty Young, Colin Byrne. Yeah, they roll through here all the time. I've met them several times. Yeah. And but so many people, that's a big part of my story, that I've met a lot of these. Like, I didn't know what I was doing when I started. I met Kurt Swan and
Oh, that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Neil Adams and Mr. Steranko and it's been a great time. You know what I'm saying? This comic community, you know what I mean? Collecting comics for me, it was just like I said, my LCS and the Comic Con, and that's all I knew and stuff. And then I discovered you guys, you know what I mean, on the YouTube, and it's become I met a whole lot of people around the whole world and shit. Yeah, so it's been wild. Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
That is
Yeah,
awesome. Very
yeah.
cool. What up, Cali Comics in the chat as well? Good to see you, Cali. Yeah, Candace saying so cool. Ryan was asking if you have ever met Garcia Lopez.
I have, and he's coming. He's coming next month again. Yeah, I've met him a couple times. Yeah, he came through. Really nice guy. Yeah.
What did
But he's
Garcia Lopez work on? I know I feel like I recognize the name, but I can't place the work.
he did mostly DC, but he did Superman versus the Hulk. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he did that Treasury edition, and
Yep. Yeah, I definitely
like
know that.
he did like the whole catalog. Like there's a thing at DC like how to draw the characters, and he drew every character like from the front, the side, and the back side. Yeah, they just had some covers of his where they had that, and he did for the Latino month. He did a series on that. Those DC covers. I picked those up, and I'm hoping to get those signed. Yeah. But that dude's a legend. Yeah, that guy's a legend.
Cliff said he made the style guide. Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah, he made the style guide. There you go.
Alex Ross is on Candace's list as well. Yeah, Alex Ross, another one. Would love to meet him one day. He's an artist that I literally buy everything, and he's doing all those Fantastic Four issues, or he was. Had a good run with that. And I think they're just announced something else. He's going to be doing more of those. What are they called? The timeless variants. I think they're about to do more for Alex Ross, so that's gonna kill my wallet even more, but that's okay. All right, go on, Bobby. What else you got for us?
Here's my Amanda Connor. Yeah, she did this one for me. I used to ask folks if they would do a skull for me, the skull with the goatee and the glasses and stuff, right? Because it was easier than have them draw me, So a lot of times I would ask them for that, but then it got to be where I was. Now I'm with the mask, so I ask people where they draw me with the mask. Yeah, this is Burnham. Yeah, he did work on that Creep Show. He did that Doom Patrol recently for DC.
Okay,
but yeah, he captured me right there. Yeah, but I love my sketches. I love getting them. I'm lucky if you can get one. But yeah, there's I told Eastman if he could do me as a turtle. So
I love it. Now, when you asked them to do these, did they just sketch it right then and there, or did you have to come back, or did they? I guess because they got to look at you, right, or to some degree, anyways, or did they just do like quick sketches in front of you, or is that something you had to like leave and come back later?
Well, usually they do it right there in front of me, boom. But sometimes it's been where they've done them. I come back for them and stuff. Because before I would just ask them for a sketch, and it'd be on whatever paper they had, and they would do a sketch. But then I started with the sketch covers. So I said, let me try to get those. And but usually they just bust it out right there. Yeah, they're looking at me. Yeah, and they just bust it out right there. Yeah. Nice. I love like sketch cover. Like I said, when I started collecting, comics were a quarter, and they only had one cover. You know what I mean? And we liked it. You know what I mean? Yeah, we like. But now that's changed. They come out with 5, 10 different covers and a chrome blank and this and that.
And then the reprints, the second prints and third prints and everything else.
Right. Yeah, man. But don't get me wrong. I like it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like the sketch covers. I like getting them done. But then I started doing where I was like, I wasn't going to cons quick enough when I was like, let me try my hand at doing a sketch cover because I like to draw, like I said. Yeah, there's that Aliens #1, and then I did it like where it pops open.
Oh, dude. I love it.
And then,
that's great. That's so good, dude. That's so good. That reminds me of your Wolverine one that you had done with the claw coming out. That you
The
gave
front
away.
one, yeah.
Amazing. That's
This is
really
one
cool.
that I did. I would do where I did die cut covers. Yeah, where like this was Joker #1, and it was a blank cover, and then I cut out that hole, and then saying there's Joker in there,
Yeah.
but you can put him, wearing whatever you want. I put him in outer space. Then I got James Tinian to sign it. Yeah.
Oh, so cool, man. That's a great idea. That's
Yeah.
dude. Oh man, you're giving me ideas. I gotta think of some stuff. I might have to commission you on something, Bobby. That's
Yeah,
really
man.
that's really
Oh,
cool.
here's one that I did. This is just construction paper that I did, but that's one of my favorites. It came out good. Yeah.
Sick. That is sick.
Yeah.
Love it. Love the size too
Man.
of everything, like that. The fact that it's bigger, or that you're able to, since you had a bigger piece of paper or whatever. So that's very cool. In the chat, quick hello to Maritza, Maritza Yarn and Crafts. Hello. Let's see. Ryan talking about the timeless variants. Yeah, so not only new wave in May, but more timeless covers later this year. Great. That's great. I mean, it is great. I'm excited. My wallet is not, but that's great. Candace saying that's a good idea for the commissions. I agree. She said, turn me into a superhero. Yeah, I love the idea of that, Bobby. That's really cool. Very unique, obviously, one of one, no matter what someone comes up with. So she said, yeah, I can't afford all those covers. Yeah, same. That's what gets tough. I mean, there's certain books where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get every cover, because I mean, like Storm right now, I'm trying to buy every Storm cover that's coming out for the new series. But even that, it's tough. Luckily it's only like 4 or 5, but to Bobby's point, like you said, Bobby, sometimes it's 13, 14 covers. It's like impossible. And yeah, she loves the Xenomorph. Yeah, the Xenomorph stuff, that's amazing too. It's really cool. But all right, well, what else you have, Bob?
Out of all the things, I like getting myself in thing. I think I'm kind of got that narcissism because I have, Adam doing skulls of me, this and that. But my favorite, I think, this is my favorite. This is my top jewel of my Infinity Gauntlet, is where I had my George Perez do the thing holding my son as a baby. Yeah,
No way, dude. Oh, I love
yeah,
that. That is a
yeah,
great, yeah, and George Perez did that. Oh, dude,
yeah.
amazing. Man,
Yes,
that is
yeah.
special, dude. That's so special.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I almost lost it, yeah, because when me and my baby's mom split up, it went with her, and for years I didn't have it, and I kept bugging her. I wanted it back, and I didn't think I was going to get it back, but somehow, luckily, it came back, and so yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, you're getting a lot of love in the chat right now. That is really cool. When do you recall when he did that? When he drew that?
Yeah, well, it was back in 1993. Yeah, back in
Awesome.
1993. My son was a baby. Yeah, back then. Yeah,
Incredible.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Um Fable said, I'm slowly working my way into Bobby's will.
Yeah, that's what on this wild ride. You know what I mean? Yeah, I came into the YouTube world, around the COVID time. It was a wild time. You know what I mean? In what it was 2019. Yeah, and the Chiefs had won the Super Bowl. It took them 50 years, and they won the Super Bowl that year. And like the parade, and then boom, the whole world shut down. You know what I mean? Everybody was on lockdown, and it was all sad. I lost some friends during that year. You know what I mean? That was sad. You know what I'm saying? My best friends. I had 2 good friends, and they passed away. And Steve Lytle, like I said, all that was all during that time,
Oh
and it was
man.
just dark. And yeah, and then I never really messed with technology. I was always I watched reruns of Beverly Hillbillies and Leave It to Beaver and shit like that. That's what I grew up on, and Sanford and Son and Good Time. That's my thing, you know what I mean? But I started watching YouTube, and then I discovered comic books. These people talking about comic books. Shout out Comic Tom and Reggie and
Yeah. All
everybody,
the big names.
everybody out here. You know what I'm saying? Biggie Shack and Scotty Vaughn and Fable and everybody. Like I said, it was a whole new world. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was like I didn't know. I like talking about comics. I like hearing about comics. So I was like, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I started watching you guys, and then the PCP Army was like the first guys that they took me in. You know what I mean? That we started talking backstage and we made friendships, and they were surprised that I'd collected for so long. And I had some comic knowledge. I read a lot of comics, so I know some things.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I made friends, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so, them guys, I'll always I'm kind of a philosopher. So I think water finds its own level. And so, yeah. But since then, I not only those guys, I've met so many people all around the world, Dr. Von Hood and Mad Spidey in Australia. And, saying it's crazy, man. Yeah, it's, I was like, are you guys even real? But then I met some people I met some people at Planet Comic Con, Nick's Kicks and Comics, and Pocan Joe. And what I mean? Yeah, Pocan Joe drank me under the table and stuff, man. Yeah, good time.
Oh, man. I wish I was there for that. That's great.
So yeah, man, yeah. So this is whole, journey has been a trip, man. Comics and yeah, yeah. It's just one hell of a life, man.
So it was YouTube. So eventually, so around this time, you jumped into YouTube, started watching, found people on there. When did you go to Instagram, or did that kind of go hand in hand, or were you on Instagram first?
I think it kind of went hand in hand. Yeah, it went hand in hand. Yeah, that's when I started with my man. I'm going to start showing my artwork and comic books and just yeah, exactly. I think they went hand in hand because Bobby De La Ghetto. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. The name comes from the name De La Ghetto. Yeah, it comes from Fresh Prince. I've gone by a lot of different nicknames in my lifetime. You know what I mean? And there was an episode of the Fresh Prince where he got named Raphael De La Ghetto, and me and my friends were watching. And by the end of it, they called me Bobby De La Ghetto, and it kind of, I kind of like that.
Yeah. I love the Fresh Prince. I don't remember that episode, but yeah, that's great. So
yeah.
Brother Joe says Bobby G, the one who got me involved.
To the into YouTube. I mean, he's seen me having fun with Fable and all them stuff, and so he came on. I was like, I like gradually, I wanted to introduce I got an older brother, and he's, I'm crazy, but he's even crazier than me. So, you guys treat him right and shit. And he came in there, he fit like a foot in a glove. You know what I mean? He fit, he's singing the intro and dancing at the end.
So, yeah, Brother Joe, I love your videos, man. Love the intros, love the music, and all the songs you're singing all the time, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's great. I love that. The whole tie into you guys and Fable and the whole crew. You guys got a good crew there, and I know this is a large. I know we're all one big group in a sense, but it's cool. Just seeing the different crews and stuff and people I've interacted with, and everybody from there has always been great. So it's cool to hear this side of it, and like you said, like how they took you in, and you've been part of the crew ever since. So very, very cool. Well, Bobby, I have a question for you based on because I want to get into some Q&A as well. But before I do, for those who, I mean, you've been collecting for a long time, as you've shared, and I've talked about this, almost every show that I do here on Origins, where I know you and I both know there are new people just getting into this hobby, people who are looking from the outside in, maybe people who used to collect when they were younger and they got out of it and now they're back and they're asking questions. Where do I start? What do I buy? What do I read? All these different things. If you could give one piece of advice to those people, to somebody that's brand new to the hobby, what advice would you give to them?
Don't do it. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not a gatekeeper. You know what I mean? I like, to keep this hobby going. You know what I mean? I like to see young folks collecting. And, like you said, I met a lot of people, young women, young men, older folks, and they collect and stuff. So, and I for me, I'm like, just jump in. Look at me. I jumped in at FF, number 150. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I didn't know what was before, or I just jumped in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'd say go and look in the dollar bin or two. Find you some cheap ones and look and see what you like. You know what I mean? If you're into mystery, science fiction, superheroes, yeah. Try to come up with an idea what you might like. But for me, I like everything, so it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. I'm a dollar bin diver. Yeah, and I get in there and I look. You know what I mean? To me, it's like meditation. I go in there and I start looking through all these books. I used to have a reoccurring dream when I was little that I was walking along and I come across these comics and I'm looking through these books and books that weren't not even real. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this guy's fighting him, and I'm picking these issues up. Yeah. Then all of a sudden it hits me like, how much is this going to cost and stuff? Boom. And then that's when I wake up and I'm like, dang, and stuff.
What a dream. What a dream.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, no, it's great advice and a great point. I mean, to your story, especially how you got started, like you said, like you jumped in at a spot that technically was a part 2 or a continuation, even though all of it's continuation, but like, you jumped in a part where others might have said, well, you shouldn't read there, you should read here, whatever. And you still fell in love with the hobby. So, it's a great point. Just kind of start to explore on your own. Like you mentioned, a dollar bin area is a great place to start for anybody, who's looking to explore without, breaking the bank or anything like that. So, and I agree. It definitely, it is, there's something therapeutic about digging in a bunch of long boxes. I don't know. Just, I could spend hours at my LCS and just know that every book I flip through is a book I've never seen before, that actual book, and just like the surprise of each of those. And then, like you said, like when you find the gems, just the rush you get, the excitement you get out of it, before you even get to open the book is just amazing. So I think it's great advice. And for anybody who, again, whether you're new or even if you're not, I think that's great advice for anybody to continue to apply to, what you're doing. And I mean, I'm still exploring. I still consider myself very new to comics, and just for the sake of, I haven't had enough time yet to read everything. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, like to me, Fantastic Four, I was when I first got into it, I was exploring Daredevil, and then now X-Men, and obviously X-Men's taken me forever. It's gonna continue to take me forever. But now I'm like, okay, I want to start setting aside for other things like Fantastic Four and the Marvel 2-in-1s and stuff like that. So it's kind of an ongoing, it's a forever thing, just always exploring and discovering stuff. And so yeah, for anybody who's kind of feels stuck in that way, just know you're not alone, and just keep diving in those bins, especially the dollar bins if you can. So I love that advice. I want to we're coming up on the 45-minute mark here, but I have a few. I want to run you through the rapid fire questions, Bobby. As you know, sometimes they're not always so rapid, but they're a good time nonetheless. So again, some of these questions will be, comic book focused, some of them not as a comic focus. So we'll jump through a couple because I'm curious for some of these. So you already answered, favorite characters and favorite villains in that regard, at least from Marvel side. But who's someone that stands out to you from the DC side of things as far as a favorite character goes? Well, let's do two. Let's do one hero and one villain for DC for you.
Right. Yeah, it's tough because I like the Batman. I always liked the Batman since a kid. He's the dude. He don't got no powers. Well, he's physically trained. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's a badass. But I mean, yeah, and he's rich. But yeah, other than that, he don't got no powers. But it's just like, to me, it's common sense. They beat somebody. If I want to defeat the Flash, I'll just throw down some sticky tape or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, and he gets everybody's scared of him, the Batman, when it comes to DC, and he's got the cool car. You know what I mean? And he's cool like a ninja. You know what I mean? Yeah, and but me and Superman have a lot in common because we're from Kansas. You know what I'm saying? I come from Kansas. He's from Kansas, you know what I'm saying? And I'm in that Superman comic. That's hard to, I mean, yeah, I got a close tie with him right there. And then there's a Mexican Superman. It's from Gods and Monsters, DC's Gods and Monsters.
Oh, cool.
It was like a short-lived series. Not too many people talk about that, but it's one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. And Batman's a vampire, and Wonder Woman's she's from the New Gods, and Superman is Mexican, and he's, instead of Kal-El being his dad, it's Zod is his dad, and he comes in, and he's not adopted by the Kens, he's adopted by the Guerras, and me and him have the same last name, and so I'm like, cousin, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I love
so. Yeah, it's a tough draw. It's a it's a tough it's a thin line between hero and villain and shit. But I love Batman and Superman. It's kind of like the yin and the yang and
For
stuff. You know
sure.
what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good way to put it.
And then favorite villain for DC would probably be the Joker because he's just everybody's scared of him. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Dark Side, whoever they move around. He's so crazy that they get out of his way. Yeah, other villains are scared of his ass. So yeah, I like him.
Twisted. You never know what you're gonna get with Joker. Candace says there's a Mexican Superman. I need to read that. There you
Yeah,
go.
Gods and Monsters.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that series. You said it was not a long. It's a short run, or it's a short.
it's a short run, and there's a DVD. There's a movie. First I seen the DVD of it. My friend turned me on to the movie. I never heard of it. And I was like, damn, this is it's in that DC animated style. Bruce Timm, I think he did the story, and there's also a couple of shorts that are on YouTube, and then it's only like a 3 issue series, and then a comic for each character and stuff. Yeah, there's 3 different. So there's not very many issues, but it's one of my favorites. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Yeah.
There you go. Very cool.
Yeah.
Next question for you: if you could have one superpower, what would that be?
That's a good one. Yeah. Healing factor be good. Yeah. I mean, well, as I have some powers, you know what I mean, already as I'm saying, I got powers, I can time travel, and I can change size, what I'm saying, at will. And back in the day, used to be able to summon the power of 10 tigers, but in my older age, I can't do that so much no more. But yeah.
It's like two and a half tigers now.
Yeah. So, and then also I can turn invisible when nobody's looking. I can turn invisible. Yeah, like the invisible kid. Yeah.
Look at all these powers you got already.
Yeah.
That's great. Let's see. If you could, I always like asking this question. If you could travel back in time to buy one comic book off the shelf at cover price, and this is a comic you would have to take to the grave with you. You can't sell it, can't flip it. Just a book that you can own in mint condition off the rack and bring it back to now, living in the now. What would that comic book be?
Might have to say FF1. Yeah. Yeah. Respect. Yeah, that's I've heard you ask that question before, and that's the first that comes to my mind. Yeah. FF1, yeah, that's kind of what changed. It changed Marvel. It started Marvel. Yeah, because it was a whole different team. That like most heroes, they had secret identities, but the FF said we're just going to go out there with no mask. We're just going to be. This is who we are, and that. It was just different. Yeah, it was a whole different type of thing. Yeah, and I love that original run, that Jack Kirby, Stan Lee run. Yeah, all those characters that came out of there: Black Panther, the Inhumans, Doctor Doom.
Oh,
yeah, it was a Galactus, Silver Surfer. Yeah, it's hard. Right. Yeah. I mean, I have FF. I have the facsimile #1. And I've got, a lot of times that's how I collect it. I didn't mind, I collect reprints, coverless comics. I love it all, man. Yeah, I love characters, and yeah, anything comic related. I was always snapping it up, whatever I could find. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah, I just saw one of my LCSs had an issue 1 come in. I think it was like a 4.5 or something like that grade
Wow.
CGC, and it was tens of thousands of dollars. I'm like, man, like it looks so nice. It was like, and look, that's a great choice to also do because of the fact that it's a white cover. It's hard to find like a nice bright colored copy nowadays. Obviously, you're spending a fortune no matter what, but yeah, to be able to go back in time and pick up a book like that, I definitely I'm right there with you. So
did they have it under glass with like lasers and a couple of armed guards next to it? Yeah.
Yeah. You know what they had it, Bobby? They just had it on the top shelf, and I'm too short, so I couldn't get it. They were like, "Oh, Justin's coming. We just got to put it on the top." I could only stare at it from far. Um, let's see. If now you named a lot of artists, kind of going through this, but if you could just choose one artist that was your, your favorite or one that inspired you the most over the course of your life of appreciating, artwork, who's like the number one artist that comes to mind for you?
That's a tough one too, but I'm a big Perez guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I always loved his art. As a kid when I was just concerned with the characters and stuff, but I started noticing I like this guy's artwork, and I noticed, he has an Hispanic last name, and you know what I mean. I said, he's doing this and that, maybe that I could do it too. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so whatever comic he went to, I followed and stuff. Yeah, when he did the FF, and I loved it, and then he was doing the Avengers, and then he went over there and did the Teen Titans, and I was like, I discovered that I wasn't really a DC guy,
Mhm.
but I was like, man, this is cool and shit. And so yeah, and then his Wonder Woman run, you know what I mean? Yeah, just whatever he worked on, I
Yeah.
was down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, I followed him wherever he went. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that Wonder Woman run. Every time I'm at Zap Comics, I always go to the W's and I always see them, and I'm like, man, like I just want to buy all the Perez books every time. And I mean, I have a couple, and little by little, I get a lot of the Brian Bolin covers too. But Perez, man, like I just know it's such a rabbit hole because he's done so much, and especially for that run, and then all the others like you mentioned. But yeah, that's a great pick, man. He's definitely, it's sad that he's no longer with us, but his work touches so many years, and fans and age groups and everything else. So, that's gonna live on forever. But it's a great pick, and I know that's a tough, question because narrowing it down like that. But for you to put it out there, I love it. I love that was your pick. So, um,
Yeah.
as far as I got to ask you an X-Men question because you're always hanging out with us with the Omni X-Men. Who's your team between the original X-Men team and the new team, the Claremont team?
That's a tough one too. I like them both. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I guess I got to go with the Claremont team. Yeah, it's a tough one. I have that giant size X-Men one. Yeah,
Yeah.
and signed by Mr. Cockrum. Yeah, I met him.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I was lucky. Yeah, I had a Hulk 181. It was all banged up. I think I inherited from my brothers and stuff. Yeah, but it was all bended up, and it had a phone number written on the back. And I cut the value stamp out as a kid, right, like a dummy.
Yeah.
But I sold
Dang
it
it.
for $20. You know what I mean? I sold that book for $20. I thought I'd find another one,
Yeah.
but I never did. But then I turned around and found that giant size X-Men one, and the guy, he wanted $20 for it. And at that time, I was like, that's kind of high, man. But yeah, but I bought it for
Oh,
$20. Boom, and then I met Dave Cockrum. Boom, he signed it. I was like, yeah, 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 I love it. Yeah.
holy smokes, dude. I can't believe you got to meet Dave Cockrum, man. I wish that could be possible. He is another legend, and especially for the X-Men stuff. And you got the
See,
book
man,
signed is even more amazing.
that's to a point, I'm saying, that you never know, man. That's why I always tell people I love them, and you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
because you just never know what day is going to be your last. So I, live every day like it's your last, because you just never know when that day is going to come. And like I said, some people like getting stuff autographed, some people don't. Well, I do because it's like meeting Babe Ruth, or I used to go with my brother Joe, and we used to get Chiefs autographs. He's kind of an autograph hound, and I would go with him, and he'd get wrestlers and stuff like that. He would meet people. But when I got into getting comic book autographs, that's when I found my niche. I was like, man, this is two good things that go together and stuff. Yeah, meeting these people, shaking their hand, you know what I mean, and making a memory and stuff, right? Yeah. So yeah, yeah, but now the Comic Cons became a new thing because I'm meeting people from the community. You know what I'm saying? Before, yeah, 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 it's becoming a whole new beast. And like, yeah, as you can tell, I like showing comic books. So I love getting on here showing stuff. This is my Will Pistachio one. Yeah, that's a skull.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that's awesome, man. He was at New York Comic Con this year, and I walked by his table, but he wasn't there. I think like his wife was there, or someone else was like kind of covering the table, and I missed him, and then I never got to see him. But hopefully to see him soon. Oh, who did that?
Jeffrey Edwards.
Oh, okay, nice. That's sick.
Yeah, yeah. He's a Kansas City guy. Yeah,
It's like a tattoo.
yeah.
That could be a tattoo right there.
It came out real good. But I would like to show off, man, all my Perez autographs because he signed a bunch of stuff, and him and Byrne. I got a bunch of stuff that they signed, but it might get a little monotonous. I got this one. I got this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was,
You gotta share. You gotta post these on Instagram, man. You gotta throw some of them up there.
I've thrown some up. I've thrown some up. Yeah, I've done it. Yeah, you can check me out on Instagram, Bobby De La Ghetto one. Yeah, I
Yeah,
throw some of the stuff that I do and stuff that I've gotten. Yeah, but like I love getting their autographs, meeting them, and then I got a bunch of autographed comics. But when you go up and meet them, sometimes they look at you like, well, they ask you, I can sign it with it'll cost some money, or if I make it out to you, then I won't charge you. I'm like, well, shoot, then make it out to me. You know what I mean? Because that adds up.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So,
yep,
but they look at you like you're going to turn around and sell it on eBay or something. You know what I mean? But I'm like, man, I keep it forever. I've
yeah.
given away autographs. I've given them away, but I've never sold them and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just, it's just my thing. It's what I like to do. So yeah, yeah.
I was gonna
When
say
they say,
that there's yeah, you're unique in that way, and I feel like there. I know a lot of artists over the years have gotten burned on people who are getting a signature just to just to flip it. I've
yeah,
had talks with my dad about that because my dad he never likes to charge anybody. He for all his career he's never charged anybody. He's always my dad's always been giving and wanting to just give the fans what they want. But and I told him, I said, and I love that and I respect that. And I was like, but Dad, I will say, if you see a guy, a witness standing over his shoulder to witness you sign this, and and not to say that everybody flips these books, but just like, if you, and he said this, he goes, at some point I went and looked on eBay and I found my signature online and people were selling my signature online. Like I'm like, well, that's the other side of it, and it's not everybody, but
right.
it's like, after a while, an artist gets hit like that, then they're just like, all right, well, if I'm just gonna give this to you just so you can go make money off it, then I'm gonna charge you for it. So, that's where I guess the line kind of gets, again, not my dad. He's still, he doesn't like to charge regardless. And if anything, I'm the one that's telling him, Dad, you got to charge something. Like at least after the first book, give the first one free or something. Like. even a dollar. I've seen artists do where it's like $1 a book if if you got like 20 books or something like that,
Or a donation or something. Yeah.
yeah. Oh
Well,
yeah. Yep, those are great too. Yep.
well, comic book, autograph etiquette. You know what I'm saying? I would say, maybe get 5 things, 6 things signed, and then get out of line. Maybe come back later. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen people come up with short boxes. Man, you're like, wow, man, yeah, come on
You're
now.
there all day. You got other people behind you that want to trying to see them too. That's
Right.
Bobby, let's shift gears here real quick because we got a few minutes left, but I wanted to get into a little bit. We got to talk some sports. I know you're a big football fan. I know you're a big Chiefs fan, a big KC fan in general, and I respect it. I will say I was rooting for you guys mainly because I cannot stand Eagles and I did not want to see them win, man. I did not. And Mahomes is a special dude. He really is. I think that he is still, even with the the lack of performance and what happened this year. Obviously, he's just done so many amazing things already. But I do think that he's going to go down, and I've been saying this for a few years now. I do think he goes down as the best quarterback to ever play the game. So I'm sure, no stress. If you were ever worrying about it, don't worry. I think he's going to be right back there again. Unfortunately, me saying this as a Baltimore fan, I feel like the Chiefs are going to be right there again. It's going to be one of the three of us is going to be, Chiefs, Baltimore, Bills, like those two teams for the next few years clashing at least to get to the Super Bowl. But yeah. So tell me, other than obviously the Chiefs are your team, and I know that. Are you a Kansas City, like just across the board sports? Other base or other sports that you follow, or is it just football?
Basically just football, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, when the Royals, if they make it to the World Series, I'll watch some baseball, but primarily, yeah, no, I'm just, I'm a football one, looking forward to football season, and I've been a football fan for a long time. I was born into a Chief family. They moved from Texas. My brother Joe and them, they used to live in Texas. They moved to Kansas City. I was born here.
Okay.
And the Chiefs originally, if you know their history, they came from Texas and they moved to Kansas City. They used to be the Texans. Well, they used to be in Texas. They came down, and Mahomes, he came from Texas, so that's just a coincidence. You know, what I mean, yeah, it's crazy how, you know what I'm saying, but yeah, how that connects. You know, but like Mahomes and Superman, you know what I'm saying. For here in Kansas, we try to stay humble. You know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
it was a long time. You know, they had a lot of losing years. You know, I'm like the same age as the Super Bowl. So when I was 4, we won Super Bowl 4. You know, they were in Super Bowl 1. The Chiefs were against Green Bay, but they lost. And then we were in Super Bowl 4 against the Vikings. We won. And then it took 50 long years. You know what I mean? Yeah, we were always disrespected. We were always they'd always talk smack on us and stuff. And then we started winning, and then they got mad at us for winning. Then all of a sudden, you know, Mahomes became the villain and stuff, right? I'm like, man,
You
it's a
live
thin
long
line
enough to be
between
the
hero
villain.
and villain, man. It's a thin line.
It's true,
Yeah.
dude.
So I identify, you know what I'm saying, my identification, you know, I like to say I'm a street level anti-hero with cosmic awareness, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that spin. That's good. That's good, dude. I'm using that. I like that. Uh, Very cool, very cool. Well, I will say the Royals are a fun team. On a side note to watch, I've gotten big into baseball over the years, thanks to my wife, and you know they're Bobby Witt. He's super fun to watch, and I think that they have some good young talent. So you know, I mean they made it to the playoffs last year, so you know wouldn't be surprised to see them you know get back there again or get close again. So I know you guys did just get one not too long ago, like within the last 10 years, right? I think the Royals had won a World Series or something like that.
15, I think. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember JP talking about it because since he's a big KC fan too. Very cool. One last question I got to ask you, man. I always like to close with this question. When it comes to food, man, if it's a Friday night, you and the fam, you know, whatever, it's your call, whatever you want to eat for dinner. What's your go-to, whether you're ordering out or you're going out or you're home cooking? What do you like? What's your go-to meal on a Friday night?
I like to go to Rosedale Barbecue. Yeah, it's the area I grew up in is Rosedale, and there's a little barbecue shack. It's been there forever too.
Yeah.
And yeah, they know me there. You know what I'm saying? I get a beef, extra crispy fry, and a Miller Lite, and boom. Yeah, yeah. All I need now is go to the bookstore and go get some Rosedale, and that's a good day. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. That's an amazing day right there, Bobby. I love it. A few more things in the chat here. James said, "Yeah, the Chiefs used to be Dallas Texans from 1960 to 1962." There you go. And Conlon said, "Yes, yeah." So the Royals they beat the Mets. Oh, sorry, cause Stevie's a Mets fan, so that's why he remembers it. So the Royals beat the Mets. There you go. Well, very cool. Bobby, man, I got no more questions for you, but it has been a blast, dude. I really am so happy to have you on the channel. And furthermore, just to have you as a friend and a connection and someone who, again, I'm going to be reaching out because I got some questions about the thing and where I should go for where I'm at. But I do appreciate you being here and always supporting the channel. Before I let you go, is there anything you have coming up, anything you want to highlight or give a shout out to?
Well, you know, Brother Joe, he'd be on the Blame Fable show, man. Guys, tune in. He's always down for the blaming.
Yep.
PCP Army, you know what I'm saying? Everybody out there, big shout out to JP, yeah, my man Marcus, the KC crew. Yeah, we're going to team up and, you know, there's going to be a wrestling show and Marcus and Beckerman and me and the Swagda. We sit right there in the front row and, you know, throw popcorn at the wrestlers and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You can find me in the back alleys fighting crime, you know, truth, justice, and the Mexican American way, man. I'm always out there, you know what I'm saying?
I love
Don't open the door. If it's ice shows up, don't open the door, man.
it. So good, dude. Well, again, for anybody watching now or the replay, Bobby's information is in the description below. Make sure you hit him up, talk comics with him over on Instagram. Keep an eye out for him on all the YouTube channels. And again, everybody in the chat, thanks so much. We've had a solid 9-10 people hanging throughout the whole evening. We appreciate you. Smash that like button. Bobby, again, dude, thanks so much for being here. I know this is not the last time. Definitely got to have you on again. And, you know, we'll have you back for Omni X-Men next season as well. But really do appreciate you taking some time to be on the show.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely. All right, gang. Well, appreciate everybody. And I will be back in 2 weeks for another Omni X-Men. Let me see. Let me go into my calendar real quick. What's today? The night, man, it's already getting to the end of February. It's crazy. Let's see. I got Kate's Comics is coming on next March 5th. It's gonna be my next show for Origins. So be ready for that. Same time, 10 o'clock Eastern on that Wednesday, March 5th. But otherwise, appreciate everybody. Have a great rest of the week. Smash that like button on the way out.